Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
Now, starting with Chapter 1, as I discussed, we are going to talk about overview. Now, when I say overview, right, overview is what we are going to talk about through the employee life cycle first of all. Whenever you try to apply for a job, right, let's say that you have been working somewhere and maybe you are trying to look for another job, or maybe a switch, or a person who is trying to get their first job. They will look into the portals and they will start applying, right? That's a process. Once you have applied for any job, guys, the journey of an employee starts from there. Suppose everything is good and your resume gets shortlisted, then what happens? You will be called by the recruiter. They may discuss a few things with you, and then if you are fitting in their requirement, then they will process further for your interview. Now, all this process that I discussed, this job application, recruiter calling, all these things is part of your recruitment module. Now, when I talk about employee life cycle, that is completely from hire to retire, or hire to fire, or hire to exit, whatever you call. All those steps, which is there is all part of your employee life cycle, and all the parts of employee life cycle is actually maintained in an HCM system. Now, that is why it is called as human capital management. Let's discuss on the employee life cycle first. You applied for the job, you got the interview, you cleared the interview, and now the day has come when you are going to be hired. Before you are hired, there is a terminology which is called as pre-hire. You become a pre-hire. On the day of joining, once you get your employee ID, your email address and all this stuff, then you become an employee. After that, what happens? You will be given certain accesses, to mark your attendance, to go ahead and apply for leaves. Maybe there is a probation period. All those assignments would be given to you. You may be given initial training. Right? After that, once you are ready, you will go ahead and start looking into the day-to-day work that you are doing. And when you have spent some significant time, let's say 3 months, 6 months, a year, your manager will go through a performance review. Right? How has your performance been? How the things were, going on? Were you able to achieve the goals or not? If you were able to achieve the goals, were you successful? Were you easily able to do it? Or you had certain challenges? All those things gets discussed. And these are points that needs to be inserted. It is actually done or put inside the system through performance management. Now there are multiple modules in HCM systems. Now approximately 8 to 9, starting with Core HCM. Core HCM is one of the most important module because if we don't know the Core HCM part, it is very difficult basically to learn any other parts of HCM system. Core HCM time tracking, which is your attendance, leave and absence module. You know what kind of leaves you are going to get. Then you have performance management, learning and development, payroll benefits, advanced compensation. And if I talk about there is one which is missing, I don't remember that right now. But all those actually make it a complete HCM system. Now here there is technical part also involved in this. But as a Workday consultant, it is not necessary that you have to be a developer. Basically, you don't need to be a coder. Because in Workday, there are multiple ways of getting the job. You can become a Workday functional consultant, technical consultant, functional consultant. I'm sorry, techno-functional. And then you can become a QA consultant. These four is the primary job area. And then there is a fifth one, which is basically a project manager. And there is one more you can say as a solution architect. But solution architect, it is very less. Availability of the job is less. It's not easy that you will be able to go there initially. It will take some time, maybe another 5, 7 years, 8 years, and then you can reach to that level. But initially, if you are planning to move towards Workday, this is your career path. This is all about, the overview. And coming on to the what is QA consultant, Devashish? What is the roles and responsibility of QA consultant? QA consultant will basically do the testing. You have manual testing and you have automation testing both in Workday. They will be doing the testing. As a consultant, let's say I do some development. Basically, I will do some configuration and then it will go for testing that they are able to see whether this, module that has been prepared or developed, is that able to achieve the required functionality or not. That's how exactly it works. QA stands for quality assurance. Quality assurance. This training, it's basically for Workday techno-functional. Because majority of the jobs that you have in the market is more of a techno-functional consultant, where you know one functional module, and you know technically also how you can build reports, calculated fields and integrations. That's the reason we call this course as a Workday techno-functional. And this is the most suitable course for anybody who is trying to go into Workday market and get a job. Because here you will have functional knowledge, technical knowledge in which you will have reports, calculated fields and 85 to 90% of the integration also. The only thing which you will not be learning here on the technical side is the coding. Because that is not possible to learn if you do not have a coding background. People, those who have coding background and they want to go towards it, there is an advanced integration course. They can enroll for that in case they are interested. If not, then it is absolutely fine. But I just wanted to inform you that these are the career paths which you have. Sorry, you have a question? I have a question. I can hear you. Go ahead. Do we get vacancy for freshers? Because as far as I have seen in various portals, they always ask for work experience with Workday. You will get vacancy for freshers. A fresher's reason is none of the freshers' vacancies put on the portal. You will never see that. But when you upload your resume, in case you want to be as a freshers, they will start calling you. Because there is, 70-80% of the jobs are not on the portal. I will be very honest. It is just the tip of the iceberg which you see on the portal. But the jobs are actually hidden. That's different. Because then I was going to various portals. I didn't find any vacancy for freshers. I was a little confused. Fresher. Freshers you will not get as I stated on the portal. When you upload your resume stating all these things, that all of these things you will start getting calls. Because resumes are downloaded from the portal, right? Right. What I was talking? I'm sorry, I forgot. I was talking about the HCM system, guys. HCM basically stands for Human Capital Management. When I say Human Capital Management, it is about your people. It is about the employees who are working in the organization. A system which is created to ease the day-to-day activity of an employee. It is a system which helps in your HR-related work. And that is the reason why we call it as HCM. If your employees are not happy, if they are not satisfied, they will not be able to put 100% of their efforts. Or you can say, focus in their work. And that is the reason you give them a system which actually removes all these HR-related hurdles. That is the reason every organization has a HCM system. Now, when every organization has a HCM system, why it is important that we learn Workday only, right? This is a question which will come to everybody. That what is special about Workday? Workday basically has come out of a very good system which was there existing earlier. I mean, it is still existing, right? It goes in such a way that we will go ahead and make a system which is actually on the modern technology. The latest technology which is there in the market, which has been running for the last 15-20 years, which was not widely used. But from last 3-4 years, you would have heard about this much, which is called cloud computing, right? And because of this pandemic, this has gone to its peak. Right now, all the companies are trying to move towards these kind of applications. When they move towards these kind of applications, the other systems which were there previously, they cannot be upgraded. They cannot be moved to cloud. That is one of the biggest drawbacks which they have. Second thing is when this new technology has come, old technologies have become expensive. It has become a time-taking process and you need a lot of people to manage it right. These are the basic reasons why all these kind of applications are flourishing at the moment in the market. Now, Workday is a 100% cloud-based tool. When I say 100% cloud-based tool, it means that none of the components are getting installed anywhere. How do you access Workday? It's exactly the same way how you go ahead and access your email. How do you access your email? What do you do? User ID and password. We just log in with the username. We just go ahead and log in with the username. Similarly, when you have to go into Workday system, you have to follow the same process. You just need a username and password. That's how it actually you can access it. Any cloud-based application, guys, you just need to have a good connectivity, maybe a good system where you have a good internet connectivity and a subscription. That's it. The way you access your email, the same way you are going to access your Workday. And the good part is you can access it from anywhere. If you see, now the trend is a lot of organization wants people to work from home, right? These flexibilities have come because of these kind of advanced technology. And all those previous systems, it was very difficult, not possible to allow many people to work from home. Because someone had to come to manage those applications, to see the server. Server was installed. It was all updated. And then again there was a weekly maintenance. And if one server goes down, you have to have a backup server. Just imagine how much money it used to take, right? And now all those things gone. You don't have that challenge anymore. These are the basic reasons why it is flourishing. Now specifically why Workday is growing. Workday is growing because of another reason, that it has been created by same people who created PeopleSoft. And PeopleSoft was one of the most successful. It is still one of the most successful HCM tools. They have taken all the components, concept from there. And it has been put in such a way that you can access it on the cloud without any challenges. That is one important part. Second thing is you have a new upgrade. You have the new upgrade coming every 6 months. And these 6 months are going to help you in getting the things upgraded very quickly. And you don't have to pay anything extra for that. That's the best part. Every 6 months, you have some new features which you can use as per your requirement. Previously, what used to happen? If there is an upgrade, if you want that pay for it, upgrade it. And that upgrade was a big headache because you have to have, a lot of people looking at the previous data, checking everything, doing all kinds of reconciliation that nothing is lost. But all these problems have been resolved. And the major part is in PeopleSoft, there was a lot of coding. And in Workday, 90% of the work is not done through coding. When you do some configuration, the coding is automatically done in the backend, which we are not even able to see. It is more of configuration. We do declarative programming. Now, when I say declarative programming, which means we do the configuration and the coding is automatically written in the backend, that system can manage it automatically. You don't need to be a developer because it does not require coding. And if anything which does not require coding or you don't need a developer, it has very less maintenance because nothing will break. It will keep on working. That's the reason. All these reasons make it a very successful, tool. If you look at the, growth of Workday right now, if I talk about Fortune 1000 organizations, 70% of them are using Workday as their HCM part. And it is not only US or MR region. It is all over the globe. You have EMEA and AP also parallelly, growing tremendously. And that's the reason why you have much of jobs right now available in this area. That was a complete understanding and advantages, a lot of things which I spoke about Workday. Is there any questions? Anything from here? Hi, Kengsha here. I have a question. I'm aware that SuccessFactor and Workday had this off the table pact wherein, SuccessFactor said that will be mostly predominantly playing in the Asian market. Whereas Workday said that fine, we'll take the Western markets. Has that scenario changed as of today? And how many companies do you see? With your experience that they are actually taking Workday, implementing Workday in Asia Pac. I'm sorry you have to repeat that question. I'm sorry you have to repeat that question. Can you hear me now? I'm able to, yes. Yes, I'm able to. I was saying that I know that there was this of the table pact between SuccessFactor and Workday, wherein SuccessFactor said that I will be predominantly playing in the Asian market, whereas Workday said that fine, will be taking other markets and mostly the Western markets. Has that scenario changed? And with your experience, do you see more companies in Asia Pac adopting Workday as compared to SuccessFactor? Actually, I would say that that pact is. I don't think that is there anymore. Because see, Workday has started opening offices in APSC region. You know they are big time in Australia. They are big time in India. You know, they have become a competitor to each other. Maybe it was there before, but now I don't see that. Alright, thank you. No problem. Thank you. Any other questions related to that? I've been raising my hand. I want to find out. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brenda. And between Workday and ERP, SAP. SAP and Workday, what are the comparisons? What are the success factors? I'm near. Because in Africa, right now, Kenya, most of the companies is SAP. I've never seen Workday. I'm just wondering, when is it going to be introduced in Africa, more in my country, Kenya? To be honest with you, you know it depends upon the organization. It is available in the market. And people are, making the use of the latest technology. I'm not sure why it is not implemented, because maybe the organizations which are there, they may have started using this AP and other applications frequently. And maybe just a few, years from now, if you are saying that you know in Africa you don't have an organization, I would suggest you please look at, your portals, the job portals in your area. Because I'll soon be relocating to Canada. I don't know whether you are. Canada, there is a lot of opportunities. No, Canada, there is a lot of opportunities. Oh, thank you. In fact, my manager just got relocated to Canada. He is a senior solution architect. He just got relocated to Vancouver. There is a lot of opportunity there. I don't see any challenges in US or Canada at the moment. In fact, job markets are also very hot at the moment. I hope I was able to answer your questions. I would like to tell other participants to mute their microphone. A lot of background noise. I would also request everybody when you're not talking, please turn off your microphone. I think maybe, I don't know, you're not able to say something, or is there a mic issue? But I'm not able to hear you. Maybe once it is ready you can take. I'll take your question at the end of the session. Right. I was going to talk about, this is all the overview that I wanted to give it to you. But there is one more important part which is related to cloud computing. I would like to discuss about that. Just to check, how many of you actually have heard it about cloud computing? Or have you used any application which is on cloud? I'm sure you would be using iCloud, right? You on your iPhone. Zoom is also. Zoom is also cloud-based. But majority of the people may not use Zoom. But definitely they might be using iPhone, right? Guys, what happens on a cloud? In fact, OneDrive is also, I think, OneDrive. OneDrive is also cloud. OneDrive was also cloud. It's on cloud. Yes, definitely. Microsoft Office 365 is also on cloud. Now it has moved to cloud like few years back. Yes, it is also on cloud. Guys, what is basically cloud? A cloud, if you say there is definition like what is cloud computing, right? If I have to define it, it's an on-demand system. It's an on-demand system which is available on the internet. If you want to use any application, it is always available. There is no downtime, seriously, unless there is a maintenance. Workday is not available for 8 to 10 hours in a week. That is only on Friday night and Saturday morning for India time. That is the only duration on which it is not available. Otherwise, it is available 24/7. You can use it anytime, any day. That is how exactly it is used. Now, it's a combination of different systems where your servers are common, your storage are common, the database is common, and there is a whole network which gets you connected to these distributed systems. Now, when you say that the storage is same, the servers are same, you know the database is same. Then how different organizations can use it differently? Guys, what happens? These are big servers that they have hundreds of terabytes of space. Thousands of terabytes of space. When you subscribe, when you take the services, you are allocated a specific amount of space on that. Based on your number of licenses that services are provided to you. But the resources will be common on that particular data center. The resources will be common. If you or another customer has some work on that server and you are doing something, it will support you. But if there is a long running request, for example, you have started running a report, and let's say there is a limit of 5 minutes, then this report will continue running till 5 minutes. If it is still not able to fetch the data, it will time out. Why it is done? Because there is a concept of multi-tenancy. We will talk that in detail. But this is just to give you, an understanding how exactly a cloud computing functions. Imagine that you have an apartment, like a society which has 3-4 towers and you have 20 floors or 20-story building. Those 4 towers are 20 floors, and on each floor you have, let's say, 7 to 8 flats, 7 to 8 apartments. What is there? Now you will have a common parking space. You will have a common lift, right? All those things. Just imagine it is just like that. The configuration of each apartment will be different. Some will be 2 BHKs, 1 BHKs, 3 and 4 also. Depending upon how many licenses you are picking, that much space is getting allocated to you. It is exactly the same concept. Now, when I say the resources are common, what are these resources? Your parking space, your lifts, corridors, all those things are common, right? Not that inside your allocated space. That is not common, that is private to you. Similarly, when you subscribe, there is a private, VPN given virtual private network or VPN or virtual private cloud. That part of that section is belonging to you. No one can get in unless they have the authority, right? That is how it is managed. Now I came to a word called multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy, just imagine this. I gave you an example of, this apartment system. Every apartment will have allocated space. Now, if you want to use the corridor, you have to go through the same way, right? And let's say there is a maximum of space for 10 people or 15 people to go together. But if you are trying to push 16th or 17th people to go in that way, they will not be able to move right. That is the reason. You have a capacity. Now that capacity, how it is maintained that you have been given an allocated time. Let's say if I have to do some operation, I will be given a specific time. And that time is basically called as governor limits. If I have to perform any operation, that operation I have to perform within that given time. If I am not able to perform it, then I will get a timeout error. What happens? I will have to make sure that my systems are optimized as much as possible, that all my work or the operation gets completed within that time. How it is possible, that we will see when we go into reports. There it plays a very important role. When we go into the report section, I will explain you about this. But this is, you can say, a conceptual part, that how exactly it works. Now coming on to cloud computing, which is now our core concept, because this tool is completely dependent on cloud computing. If I have to define again, as I stated, it's a shared system and on-demand IT service. The resources are available 24/7 except on maintenance day. And then it is pay-per-use. Pay-per-use means you will only pay as per the number of licenses. You don't have to buy anything. It is a subscription service, more like a Netflix. Whatever services you will choose, you will only pay for that much. If you have 5 users, you will only take license of 5. If you have 100, you will only take it for 100. It is not necessary that you take it for 2000. That is how it works. And one more thing that is very important here is cloud computing has 3 main pillars. You may have heard about infrastructure as a service, IaaS. Right. Have you heard about it any day? Wonderful. Then you have another one, which is PaaS, platform as a service. And the third one is software as a service, which is called a SaaS. What is the basic difference between all these three? Infrastructure as a service. Guys, nowadays the providers have started giving infrastructure also on cloud. Now, if you say that I need certain servers, operating system databases, and I don't want to install that as a permanent thing, I want to use it for the time being and give it back. It is basically a renting service. I will use that and I'll only pay for that amount of time till the time I'm using it. Otherwise, I'm not going to use it. In that, what I'm taking the infra, I'm taking the data centers, I'm taking the databases, I'm taking the network, I'm taking everything which is required for me and what I need. I just need a good connectivity and a good laptop or desktop or a tablet to connect to that. And from there I can keep on working. If I have to build something, if I have to, use the database, I can use it. If I have to build something, I can do that. If I have to develop something, I can do that. Right. That's how you know the dependency of people that you need a server in your premises is reducing. You really don't need it, because you can just take it and use it. And if you really don't need it, return it back. Just get your data. That's it. That's how exactly it has revolutionized the things. The hardware cost is almost removed. Who are the providers? You may have heard about AWS, Amazon Web Services, AWS, which is the most used system on the IaaS side at the moment. Then you have Oracle Cloud, Google Cloud. And then, you may have heard about other, players as well. But they are not much. But these are the main known players at the moment which are providing you. In fact, Microsoft has Azure, right? That is also a very good plan. You can say you can. I would say the provider who provides you this infrastructure services IaaS. Right. All these things are available. Then comes the next. We have this rack space. Rackspace also is giving that service, right? What I'm trying to tell you is this is one of the most important pillars of cloud computing. The next is the next pillar, which comes here is PaaS, which is platform as a service. In this, what you have is you don't know the infrastructure part. That infrastructure visibility is taken away from you. You don't know what database is being used. You would not know what servers are being used. What middleware is being used. All those things are not given to you. But they will give you a platform. They will give you, you can say, a framework in which you can do the development. Now, if you have to build your own applications, you can go ahead and do that. Some organizations which have clubbed together and they build it Workday. Workday is a cloud-based tool. It would have been developed somewhere on some cloud platform. Now, which is that cloud platform? We don't know, but it is one of them. It may be their own cloud also. That is also possible. But yes, this is built on one platform. Now you can do the development. You can build your own applications, as many as possible. There is no limit of that. You will be using that platform. Whether you want to use Java in that, whether you want to use Microsoft applications or developer tools like Azure or CTuxtils or C#. Whatever you want to use, you can. Whatever database you want to use, they will provide it to you. But the fact is, all the development will be done there. The only part which is hidden from you is the infra. You will not be knowing what infrastructure is being used at the back end. Who are the providers? Again, the same name. You will have AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle. These are the four major players. I mean, there are a lot, but these are the four major players. Then what? I have a question. What is the purpose of, not sharing the infrastructure details? Then, in case of the PaaS, if you are using a PaaS system, you really do not need to know. You really do not need to know what infrastructure is being used. Because if you want to know the infrastructure part, you will have to take the subscription of the infrastructure as a service module also. Why do you need that, right? Because you will have to pay extra for that. People, those who do not want it, they can skip it. Got. And if you are using a PaaS model or PaaS service in, that infrastructure will be hidden, definitely. Maybe the charges would be different then. Of course, the charges definitely will be different because you are taking more services than your PaaS. Right? Got? And again, if you take infrastructure, which means you can build your own private cloud. Got? Do you really need that? If not, then why would I need to take it? That is the main reason that the infrastructure part is hidden. Then comes the next question. Excuse me, sir. Sorry to bother you in between. Suppose if the company, do you know any company who has a private cloud purchased from? Every company nowadays have private cloud. Every company. They will not reveal it, but they all have it. Because see what happens. They don't want to keep data in their own server because it is costing them huge amount of money. To maintain that server, they first of all have to keep the hardware. And one server is not enough. They will have to keep backup servers also. You never know which will go down when. Thank you. Almost all the organizations have now their data in cloud. But yes, they definitely have to abide by the country's law. For example, if you are in US, maybe the data cannot be stored out of US. Similarly, if you are in India, your data cannot be stored outside of India. Let's say your banking details, right? These organizations, the providers have built their data centers in every part of the globe. If you talk about AWS, they have data centers everywhere. In US, also Canada, also European countries, China, India, Japan, South Korea, Australia, everywhere they have built it. Because they know that they have to comply with the local laws, right? That's the reason they have built this kind of, system. Right. Does it make sense? I'll come to the next point, which is your SaaS model, which is called as software as a service. In this, the application is already built and it is with you. In this part, you cannot make any customization. Customization means you cannot change the basic structure and the framework. You can only customize the things which they have given access to. Like you want to build some workflows, processes that you can customize as per your requirement. But you will not be able to change the look and feel of the application. It will look in the same way. You cannot make any changes on the UI. You cannot make the changes on the database. Because all the things will be hidden. You would not even know what infrastructure is being used. What platform is there on which the application has been developed? We'll not know that. That is why all these SaaS-based applications, it is, code-free. Because it will not allow you to write much of the code. And they always say, whoever is building the application, that you don't really need to write the code to achieve something. Because that facility is already there in the system. You can achieve everything what you need without writing the code. That is another advantage of any SaaS-based tool. Now Workday is one of them. And Workday is very, very dynamic. Why I am saying very, very dynamic? Because you can change it as per your requirement very quickly. Not all these applications have much of flexibility. Whoever is the competitor, whether it is Oracle Fusion or you have SuccessFactors, they don't have much of flexibility as Workday. That's the reason they are lagging behind at the moment. If they improve their product, you never know. Now that might go into the market and it may outshine. But in the near future, another 5 to 10 years, I don't see that happening. But after that, it may happen. These are the things which I wanted to discuss regarding your overview and core concepts. Now, guys, one more thing, which is there when I said that in the HCM system you have multiple modules, right? Now they are all interlinked. It is not that, they are individual. It is called individual because they all have their specific purpose. But they are all interlinked. Now, when I said that there are 8 to 9, let's start once again. You have Core HCM recruitment time tracking, leave and absence of performance. You can say performance management or talent management. Then you have benefits, payroll, advance compensation, right? And there's one I am missing. Maybe that is analytics part of it. But definitely all these things are combined. Now why and how it is interlinked? Everything is. I'm sorry. I'm not able to hear you. Brenda, you're saying something right. What do you mean by advance? Yes, advance benefit. Advance compensation. Advance compensation. Advance compensation. I'll tell you. In the core compensation, there are only two things. What are these two things? You have your fixed salary and then you have your variable amount. Not every organization follows that. Because if your organization is a public organization or they are giving some stock options, in that case they would need advance compensation. Core compensation will not be enough. Suppose some organizations gives you retirement benefits. That is also a part of benefits, plus an advance compensation component would be added there. Right? These are the things which comes in your advance compensation. I'll show you when we go into the compensation chapter. There I will show you what are the things that comes in your advance compensation. The core compensation consists of your variable and your fixed salary. And 90% of the organization has this for sure. Rest remaining 10% of the organizations have one-time payments. They will give you RSUs like restricted stock units. You know, it's more like a retention tool. Let's say you work in Amazon. Amazon will give you that. Let's give you 30 shares. And how you can claim it? You can claim it like 10% of the 30 shares in the first year. And after every quarter, you are going to get like 25%, 25%. At the end of 4 years, you are able to, or 3 years, you will be able to get all that 30 stocks. What the company has done? The company has made you stay in the organization for 3 years. That's just like a grid which is given, but how do you configure in the system? For that purpose, you have advanced compensation. Someone has asked me how and where I can get the recording. You need to reach out to the support team. You know who asked you to join the session. They will be able to give you the recording. On this overview and core concepts that we have discussed today. Do you have any questions? I just want to know one thing. As we were discussing cloud computing, other than Workday, is there any other HCM tool which is on cloud? SuccessFactors on cloud, but not 100%. It has some components which is on cloud, and there are some which is on premise. You may need to install something. There are a lot. As of now, Workday is the only tool which is completely on cloud. But you will see some small, HCM system which is there on cloud. Sorry to interrupt, sir. I have a small suggestion. Please tell me. I have heard about one more tool called Zoho people. Definitely. Zoho is there. Now, what is the major difference between Workday and Zoho people? See, if you talk about concepts is same. Every HCM tool will have the same concept. But the fact is, the number of features which is given by Workday is way more than what features are given by Zoho. The features and different type of product suite which is given, like you have everything in one place in Workday. In Zoho, you may have to do a lot of connectors you have to use to connect a few things. But here it is not required. You can just get the license and start using it. Thank you, sir. No problem. Let it be any HCM system. Concept-wise, everything will be same. It will not change at all. But the fact is, feature-wise, the way you are doing things, how exactly you want to use it, that makes the tool user-friendly. Workday is very user-friendly, but it is very boring also. The reason to that is you cannot change anything on the UI. You know it will always be the same UI. That is the reason why we say it's a very boring tool, but very useful in case you want to use it the way you want to customize. You can do that. That's the best part of it. And customization does not require coding. That's the another advantage. These are the things which we have discussed today. These are the things which we have to use. This is Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.